Hi, this is Emily Leiphart of Art from the Heart, and in this video I'm sharing a paper Smooches project using the Noggin Toppers stamp set that will be available on November 1st. I'll also be using the Jive Turkey and Shadow stamp sets for my card. I'm starting with a white A2 card base and a panel that's cut a ½ inch smaller. I go ahead and stamp the two hats I'm going to use on the turkeys. Much like when I die cut shapes twice in case I mess up the stamping, I also stamp images twice so I can use the one that stamps better. After I stamp the turkeys, I can go ahead and color in all the images with Copic markers. These colors may be a little brighter than they are in real turkeys, but I wanted them to be whimsical and a little ridiculous too. I've always loved these fun turkeys. I actually wish there was a coordinating die for them. And I know at some point I'm going to snip away the polymer between their legs so that they can actually dance and their legs will go flying out the sides. I can't get over how cute these turkeys are. I could color these all day long. Just a bit more color on the beaks and then I'm done. I color in the hats to coordinate with the turkeys. That way they look as black tie as cartoon turkeys can look. I hope you're as excited as I am about the release of Noggin Toppers. There are so many hats and you can color them in any way to coordinate with the critters. And you know how many critters and characters there are in the Paper Smooches collection. Now you'll be able to dress up any Paper Smooches critter or character for a special occasion using any of these hats. At the end here, I decide that the beaks don't pop nearly enough, so I go back in and add darker orange. After the images are all colored, I cut them out individually. I'm very picky when it comes to fussy cutting and have a method that I've used for as long as I can remember. I always cut out each image individually rather than cut them from a big sheet of paper. I don't like to have large portions of cardstock around my images, and I will often snip away loose portions. You'll see me doing this at various intervals. I have been spoiled by dies in recent years, so it does feel weird when I do fussy cut. It's hard to believe that there was a time before coordinating dies became popular and I was fussy cutting everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. It was one of my favorite things to do, so it's really a lot of fun to do it again. After all 4 images are trimmed and ready to go, I decide to swap out that plain white panel with a patterned one from Heidi Swap's Dreamy 6x6 paper pad. It has tiny ledger lines and some distressing around the edges. It coordinates perfectly with the colors on my images and provides a nice warm background. I position the images on the card base to determine placement of the sentiment. It was either "I'm thankful for you" or "Let's gobble till we wobble." The latter had a better width, so I stamped that directly onto the patterned paper. Next, I take the shadow stamp set and pick a shadow that fits the scene. I grab an orange ink that coordinates with the orange in the images. I'm going to second generation stamp the shadow, and I do a couple of practice runs on scrap cardstock beforehand, just to make sure it looks the way I want it to. It's not as dark as I liked the first time, so I repeat the process in the exact same spot. Now it's time to adhere the images to the background. I want a tiny bit of dimension, so I use micro glue dots on the back of the turkey. The feet are too small, so I use my zig glue pen to glue the feet down. These hats are a little big on the turkeys, but that just adds to the whimsy of this card. At this point, I think about adding more to the card, but I decide against it, and I'm glad I did. Visually, it's a clean and simple card, but there's so much to look at with the individual images, and the fact that they're fussy cut and adhered to the card, creating a fun little scene. I go ahead and adhere the panel to the card base, and my card is done. Another way you could make this card is to stamp the hats first, mask them off, and then stamp the turkeys. but this way you don't have to worry about exact placement. Please refer to the supply links below if you're interested in any of the products I used in this video. You can also visit my blog for stills and more information about my cards. Thanks so much for watching.